Hello and welcome back to the Nasty Metal particular channel here at YouTube, and welcome to another album review. Today's album review, of course, goes to the fourth and newest, and in many ways a comeback album for, of course, underground cult, Ohio-based metal legends Shok Paris, and of course with the album Full Metal Jacket, which was released here on May 29th through, of course, No Remorse Records. Now, before I really get into this album, I should definitely go a little brief back history. These guys, of course, go back all the way to 1982. They had released their very first full-length album on Auburn Records, the infamous Auburn Records, with, of course, the album Go for the Throat in 1984. Then, of course, after that, they were alleged to release the album Steel and Starlight on the same label, but somehow things didn't go through, or I think that they just got swiped up by IRS Records, and then it got released through IRS, so basically pretty much being their major label debut. And of course, Concrete Killers in 1989 before then splitting up, and of course, they reformed back in 2009 and released the very first single in 2012, titled Those Eyes, which of course is featured on this album anyways. And of course in 2015 they then released the alleged Auburn mix, or at least it's titled the Auburn Sessions of Steel and Starlight. Now, I have reviewed pretty much the first three albums on this channel when I did my US Power Metal Month. Back in 2016, I did back then. I reviewed those three, so here I am now with Full Metal Jacket. Now, again, I should also definitely point out the only two original members that are left in this band, of course, is vocalist Vic Hicks and guitar player Ken Erb. Now, again, I should definitely even point out, and it definitely falls into the album right here, so I guess we'll then go into the album cover right here and just basically going straight into the review here. So, Full Metal Jacket. Now, prior to May 29th here, this album was supposed to have been released back in February, but somehow the members, I think, pretty much changed their mind and wanted to then officially, instead of just releasing it digitally, they then wanted to have it at least be released physically. So it seemed like instead of re-inking a deal with Auburn, it seemed like they inked a deal with No Remorse Records, which of course this past week or month I had reviewed Dexter Ward's album, which was released to No Remorse as well. So, Full Metal Jacket, what, after many, almost close for 30 years since their official last album, Concrete Killers, has anything really changed? Is there anything different in here? Well, there's really nothing different. This really sounds like definitely somewhere in between albums such as Steel and Starlight and Concrete Killers. I mean, it does kind of at times veered towards the more commercial aspects, I guess, of Concrete Killers, but it still has a heaviness and still metal feel of Steel and Starlight. It still has plenty of that crunchy metal riffs on the sound, still plenty of them anthemic metal songs and everything on here. Of course, Vic Hicks still sounds great on this album. He still has that great snarl to him. That is just great. He still has it. And of course, Ken Erb still provides some of those great guitar leads and just great, straight to the jugular anthemic metal riffs. Everything is still present on this album. I should definitely even point out that the album starts out with a instrumental called The Creed, which of course it takes some audio clips from Stanley Kubrick's classic film, which of the same title of the album, Full Metal Jacket. And if anyone who is familiar with that movie, they know what scene this is actually taken from. And of course, then after that scene cuts out, or that audio clip, they then go into the music and they're reciting pretty much verses, or one of the sayings, whatever, the quotes from Full Metal Jacket. Oh god, I don't want to completely, because I kind of forgot the name of or the quote that they're using, but it's definitely one of the quote that fucking what's his name, Arlie Army, who of course rest in peace. The quote that he gets, that he uses while they're while they're using their gun, whatever. It's, I think if you're familiar with the movie, you probably should at least know what I'm referring to. Anyways, after that, we then go into the actual title track, which again is a classic. Again, just a solid track for Shok Paris. It's pretty much vintage Shok Paris right here. It's a great anthemic, galloping metal track. Very good. Then, of course, we have other anthemic songs like Nature of the Beast, and even the song Metal on Metal, which is not a Anvil cover, just to at least to let you know, it's not an Anvil cover. These definitely are just straight up metal anthems on here. Again, Nature of the Beast has a bit of a Dio-esque feel to this song. And of course, the song Metal on Metal and Do or Die, Black Boots, Hell Day, Those Eyes, and of course other songs like Fall from Grace and Sympathy of the Sea are just great anthemic songs. And of course, even another very much anthemic song, and it's a song that actually officially ends the album, which is titled Up the Hammers, which is the longest song on this album. It clocks in at 7 minutes and 15 seconds. This is a great quality song to end it. It's, again, maybe it might be some ode to Iron Maiden in some way, shape, or form, but it's definitely a great way to end the album. It's just, again, it's anthemic, and it gallops. It's a heavy track. It does what it needs to do to end the album. So here, again, with 12 songs on this album, clocking in at 51 minutes and 29 seconds, this is a great comeback album from Shok Paris. This is, again, I would, I think before I really say anything more, I should give out my rating, which is a 8.50 out of 10. I would say, I think I like this one a lot better than the very last album that they had released, which is Concrete Killers from 1989. Not that that was a bad album, but this one I think holds a lot more guff to it. There's there's a little more grit to some of the sound. There's at least more oomph and everything to this that I think that was lacking on an album such as Concrete Killers. This is, I mean, now, not to say that this is as good, or to say that this anywhere comes close to like Steel and Starlight. I mean, that's kind of, would almost be kind of blasphemous, I guess, to say, because Steel and Starlight is one of Shok Paris' classic albums. Same thing even goes for, of course, the very first album, Go for the Throat. But this album is easily, I could put within that list of, at least right now, of their first four, is within some of their top best material. This is a great comeback album from these guys. I mean, even some of the newer members that are on this album, they do a fantastic job blending in with, of course, the original guys here being Vic Hicks and, of course, Ken Erb. They do great job playing with these two guys, and everything just comes up so naturally. It's a great album from start to finish. Again, this album was released through No Remorse Records here on May 29th. And so if you definitely want to check this album out, I recommend checking this album out. If you definitely, dug the albums that just Go for the Throat and Steel and Starlight, and even many ways also Concrete Killers, there's nothing on this album that you are not going to like. This is a great fucking album from beginning to end. This is definitely, I mean, 30 years was a good enough wait for them to come up with some great new material. This is definitely, the band just sounds a tip-top form here. So with that, I definitely recommend checking this album out. So with that, I hope y'all enjoyed this Every Thrash had Sam out. I'll see y'all later. Take care, everyone.